I worked in coffee for 10 years and I'm going to show you how to make barista coffee right at home on a budget. G'day friends, how's it going? Welcome back to Sam's Home Kitchen, where I bring to you budget-friendly recipes with sustainability in mind. Or shall we say Sam's Home Cafe, because we're talking about coffee today. And no, don't get scared, nothing espresso related, but instead I'm going to show you 3 ways to make coffee on a budget right at home. We've got 3 things to cover today. My favorite of making black coffee, Milky Coffee, and then third one, my daily routine. That is enough talking, I need some coffee. For method number 1, we're using so what is it? Well, take a little trip. I'm out picking up a set of Bowden coffee plunger set that someone's given away for free on Facebook. They are vintage, they are super cool, so I'm gonna go pick it up. Go pick it up and see you guys in a bit. I've been eyeing off these like coffee cup set for the longest time. I did not know they come with a plunger as well. That is the plunger. That is so cool. Got 2 of these. These, I see them all over like op shop. They're just so cute. Can't wait to make some coffee with you guys in these. All right, that's my little vlog. See ya. So when it comes to making good coffee at home, there are a few elements to consider. So obviously picking the coffee that you like, the coffee to water ratio that will determine the strength of your coffee, as well as the size, how big, how coarse or how fine you're grinding your coffee. The last one I would say is probably your water temperature. So I'll walk you guys through what that looks like. Grab a scale, that way we know how much coffee we're putting in, and then also how much water that we are mixing with our coffee. So for a single cup, I like to do about 15 grams of coffee. A little trick to reduce the grinding statics is to spray it with a very small amount of water mist to reduce the mess. Give it a quick shake. To get the most out of your coffee, I highly recommend having a grinder at home, whether it's a hand grinder or an electric one. Next best is to get the coffee ground to the correct size at your local cafe. Most cafes will be happy to do so, given you buy the beans from them. Make sure to tell them the brewing methods you do at home. One type of grinder that I do not recommend are those blade grinders. They produce very inconsistent grind size and will actually make you hate your coffee. For French press, we're aiming for grind size like what I have here, or you can go a little bit coarser with darker roast. So now this is where scale comes in very important. We already weigh out how much coffee we're putting in, which is 15 grams. I think it's a pretty good amount for, one single cup. And just got a fresh kettle of water, boiled. Obviously, if you got a thermometer handy, aim for about 93 to 95 degrees Celsius. If not, just put a kettle on boil and then either add a dash of cold water into it or just leave it sitting there for 5 minutes. That's a pretty good amount of time. Add in 45 grams of water to start with. Give the plunger a swirl to ensure all coffee ground is fully saturated. This step is called blooming. It prepares the coffee for better extraction. Let's bloom for 30 seconds and top the water up to 225 grams to reach a coffee to water ratio 1:15. Now let it steep for 4 minutes. Once our 4 minutes steeping time is up, we don't want to leave the water in there with the coffee ground. So pour them all out, it will stop brewing, and that's pretty much it. One of the easiest way to make coffee, there's little to no single-use material throughout this process. I'm definitely tasting black tea and maybe a hint of Lipton lemon iced tea without that really crazy sweetness, a little zesty. So this is an Ecuador Yellow Bourbon from Paradox Coffee Roaster. I like it. It's really light. I think if they'd gone a little bit further, it would have bring out a bit more sweetness. Not at all a bad coffee. So this coffee right here, I got it through a friend of mine who recently started a coffee business called The Roast Collective. And they got a website, I will leave it in the description. They have an easy to follow quiz to help you understand what kind of coffee works best for your setup and your palate, from espresso to filter. From some vibrant, fruity, juicy coffee to a chocolatey cup of joe. They work with a wide range of Australian coffee roasters and ship worldwide. You can get 15% off on your first order, and then if you like what they do, you can use my discount code SAM10, that is SAM10, to get 10% off for everything after that. Thank you, the Roast Collective, for the generous offer. Now back to the video. We got recipe number 2. We're going to reuse our French press that I just washed earlier, but this time we're going to do Milky Coffee. How do we do that with a French press, you may ask? Ask no further. Sometimes you want to be a little bit fancy, sometimes you want to make like a little latte at home. First of all, we're going to grab a nice cup of yours and we're going to do your classic blend 43. Stole it from my wife, so don't tell her. Next step, imagine this is an espresso shot. So 30 grams of water. 1 teaspoon of instant coffee with 30 grams of hot water. Mimics an espresso shot pretty closely. Next, measure out the amount of milk. That will just be the volume of the cup minus 30 grams. Into a microwave safe container and heat it up to 60 to 70 degrees Celsius. That was my jump to microwave and back, in case you didn't figure that out. Hot milk back into the French press. And we want to pull the plunger up and down in very small movement to aerate the milk with the metal mesh filter. Keep the up and down movement very small so we're making microfoam instead of bubbly milk froth milkshake situation. You can see here the volume of the milk roughly increased by about 1 centimeter. That is a good amount in my opinion. Give the milk a swirl to ensure the foam is nice and liquidy. You can pour it straight into the coffee or into a milk pitcher if you like to be fancy and make some latte art. This is how I used to practice pouring latte art when I was in the early 20s. Check out the quality of the foam though, really isn't too bad at all. The sweetness from the milk, the blend 43 just balances out quite well. It's non-offensive, no complaints, I will drink that. Here comes the last recipe and perhaps the most important one, which is my daily routine. What do I drink on a daily basis first thing in the morning? Mark, one of these. Try to be fancy, so put it in a little fancy container. 1 spoon, no scale, and then hot water all the way through. List up 200 grams, $3, $4 from Aldi. 1 canister will probably last me 3 to 4 months. Can't get any cheaper than that. First thing in the morning, that's what you need, a slap in the face, get you out of bed and get started with the day. All right, and there we have it. That is our 3 ways to have our coffee on a budget right at home. The last one might seem like a joke, but honestly, that is the cheapest way to kickstart your day. I've had my fair share of worse coffee from cafes compared to those considered crappy instant coffee. At least that is consistent, at least that I know what I'm getting. Rather than going out paying $5, $6 for a coffee that I just walk away being disappointed, that will forever be my go-to reliable first go in the morning. Alright, thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something. I hope you really give the milk frothing technique a go. It's such a game changer with such a simple tool that you can use, and you probably have a few French press sitting at home anyway. If you're in the market for some coffee, or if you're thinking about getting some coffee for friends and family for the upcoming gifting Christmas period, give my friends' new business a go, the Roast Collective. They have a wide range of Australian roasters, and a step-by-step guide to help you work out what coffee to order from the site is really helpful. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time for a food recipe.